Welcome to the EQ Gangster podcast, where you will learn practical tools to grow your mental and emotional health and intelligence to be the best version of yourself, both at work and at home. It is real, raw, and transformational. The journey of emotional growth isn't easy, but it's worth it. I believe in you.
EQ Gangsters. So this is going to be another heavy episode. I just got back from spending a weekend with my dear friends who just lost their 19-year-old daughter to a heart attack when she went for a jog with a family dog. And I want to share some of my lessons from my experience being with the family during one of the most tragic experiences a human being can experience and a family can experience. I am thankful for friends and family and relationships and hugs and smiles and tears and sadness and pain and support and encouragement and love and emotions and complexities and silence and chairs and couches and exercise and water. So a lot of folks have asked me, hey, how was the trip? How was the experience? And I said it was brutal. It was brutal. For a number of reasons, obviously. It was brutal. It was brutal. And they were surrounded by a ton of amazing family and friends, which is such a blessing. And, I got back in a plane and I came to work, and it's a regular work day for me. They are sitting at home in complete and utter devastation and grief and loss and mourning. It's fascinating what such an event does to our mental, emotional, physical, spiritual physiology. The level of intensity is fascinating. And I'm still doing lots of reflection, and I almost lost my daughter. I don't think I've even told anybody this, but a few months ago, she had a little bit of an accident. And the same day, 2 other teenagers were engaged in the same type of winter activities that did die. And by God's grace, my kid was not one of those kids, obviously, that passed away. And obviously it's heartbreaking for those two kids that did pass away and their families. This family, losing their daughter, hit home for a number of reasons. One, I drove this family to the hospital when they were pregnant with this girl. She was needing to be induced. I drove them to the hospital. So I was there at the beginning and end of her life. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. And it's brutal. And it's brutal. And it's brutal. So here are some lessons. And again, this is just phase 1 lessons. I'm not going to share all of them. I'm not going to share all of them right now. The ones that I'm willing to share are the following. Never take the small, seemingly insignificant moments for granted. If God puts someone on your head or heart to reach out to text, to encourage, to call, do it immediately. Text them, call them, reach out to them, send them an email. Hey, just thinking about you. Hey, grateful for you. Hey, thank you for your friendship. Whatever. Emotions are always operating in the background and under the surface during traumatic events. Always operating. And even non-traumatic events. Everyone processes emotions differently. Our weaknesses can be exacerbated during significant emotional events. Same with our strengths. Being in an emotionally charged situation can turn a dial up on our strengths and weaknesses. Staying physically healthy during traumatic events is critical. Social support during significant emotional events is absolutely life-changing and critical, especially to survive the initial timeline of the blast, of D-Day, of the closer you are to ground zero, the greater the intensity of those emotions. It's crucial to build those relationships before you need them. Take advantage of every opportunity to serve someone going through a crisis. And yes, it's awkward and it's uncomfortable, and it's an amazing learning opportunity and an opportunity to be the hands and feet of Jesus and to love someone with your actions during crisis. Who is good at supporting others in times of crisis? Do you know anybody? What makes them good? It was fascinating watching all the different tiers of relationships around this family. Who was good at supporting, encouraging them? Who was taking? Who was giving? And there's no, this is not, please understand what I'm saying. I'm not making judgments, because there's no playbook for when somebody goes through something like this. You don't know what it's going to be like until you're in the middle of it. And so it is awkward, uncomfortable, painful, brutal for everybody. Obviously, the most painful for the family that is directly affected. this is definitely a skill and muscles and emotions that I want to develop, so that not if, but when something like this happens again to someone else in my circle, I want to continue to get as good as I can at supporting those in crisis. One of the reasons is I've had 3 people specifically, 4 people specifically help me through some recent, within the past couple years, valleys that I'm like, holy cow, these guys, I don't know that I would have survived had it not been for these 3 people originally, and now a 4th one. They've been life-changing for me. And so it's like, dang, I want to be like them, for them and for others. And so God gave me an opportunity with this family. And ironically, this guy was with me when my father died. After my father died. As soon as my father died, he found out, and he immediately stopped what he was doing, dropped what he was doing, and came in and spent time with me, which was powerful. So I get to kind of return the favor, if you will, and be there for him. So that was a whole nother weird dynamic, grateful, awesome dynamic that I was able to give back to him in his time of need. And I've got plans. I want to call him regularly. I want to go spend some time with him regularly. He lives multiple states away. And anyway, so that's some more thoughts. Processing the grief and loss of a child or loved one may take years or decades. Now, my encouragement to anybody that goes through something like this is you actually intentionally go through it. You don't sit on it, right? You actively and intentionally go through the process of processing your emotions and feelings. So stuffing and avoiding and stewing and brooding over the loss of a loved one is not the same thing as processing productively, which still may take decades with something this level of intensity. So remember, those two are not the same. I have another buddy of mine who has never processed the loss of his brother, and it's been 20, 30 years. He still hasn't processed emotionally, which is not healthy. And so, yes, that's taking decades, but he's not processing. I encourage anybody going through this, directly and indirectly, the loss of a loved one, to make sure that you are intentionally processing your emotions, going through something heavy like this. And give yourself grace and patience and curiosity while going through the process of processing your emotions and feelings and thoughts. Lean into the process. Take initiative. If you're supporting someone going through a difficult time, take the initiative. Don't ask, hey, what do you need? Now, sometimes it may be appropriate, hey, what do you need or what do you want? But again, the closer you are to ground zero of when the event happened, the less they're going to have answers for that. So when you say, hey, call me if you need anything, they're never going to call you because they have no idea what they're going to need. So take the initiative. Whether it's meals or visits or books or coffee or gifts or flowers or trips or naps, whatever they may need help with, just take the initiative, taking out the trash or doing their mowing, or again, everyone responds differently in these kind of events. And if they're not good at processing their emotions from the beginning, they may need more help. So take the initiative. It's not helpful to say, just call me if you need me, which is what I used to do. Watching this family, it is so hard to think clearly when you're trying to wrap your head around this type of loss. I'm so grateful I had the opportunity to be with this family, during one of the most tragic events a human can experience. I'm grateful that I've been working on my EQ for a decade so that I could be more emotionally prepared to be with this family. There are some people that take care of tasks, and there are some people that take care of the people. And there are some people that do both. I try to do both. But my primary mission when I was there this weekend was to take care of the family, and specifically the husband. Because the wife had someone there for her. So my focus was the husband, I'm buddies with both the husband and the wife, but I'm closest with the husband. And I just tried to be mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually available for him and any details or tasks that he needed to do. And the other thing I tried to do was anticipate what they might need or want before they wanted or needed it. For example, this is a little example. During the memorial service, there was 300 or 400 people that showed up, a receiving line. And so the husband, wife, and son stood there and hugged and cried with 300 to 400 people, which is, again, brutal. So my goal was every few people that would come through, I would give the family my family that I came to support, water, breath mints, Kleenexes, whatever they needed. Every 5 to 10 minutes, I'd give them another little hit of water, some more, the husband, some mints, and some electrolytes, a little, sweet tea or something to just give them a little sugar, a little energy. Never pass up a hug. You don't know when it's the last time you'll be able to do that. Be kind was another message that the daughter passed on to her brother. Always be kind. I kind of hit this before, I'm gonna hit it again. Intentionally invest in building your tribe, your relationships, because it's not if you will need support, it's when you will need support, because life isn't easy. It's not rainbows and unicorns most of the time. And you may have to be the one to initiate and invest into those relationships. The other person may not be the one to initiate or invest back into you. You may have to be the one that initiates, and you just have to accept that. So, and again, I've got a whole bunch more lessons, but right now, that's my initial. I was so grateful for, and I am so grateful to be on the inner circle of this family, that I get the privilege, honor, and opportunity to go through this with them. Obviously, nowhere near to the degree of what they're going through. But that I get to experience this part of life. And the reason the pain is so deep is because the love is so strong. And I just watched this clip from this guy, this billionaire. Recently, he said that he still grieves the loss of his mother. And he said, I'm grateful for this grief because it means I love her so much. And I thought, man, that's a neat perspective, that grief is a reflection of love. It's an expression of love. You don't grieve what you don't love. You don't grieve the loss of who you don't love or who you don't know. And so grief is a gift. And I thought, wow, that is a fascinating perspective. And in the Bible, it says, mourn with those who mourn and rejoice with those who rejoice. And so I'm grateful to have the opportunity to mourn with this family as long as they need to mourn. Years. I'm looking forward to crying and laughing with this family about their daughter. The highs and the lows, the joys and the pains that this amazing, amazing kid brought not just to their lives as the family, but to everyone that she met. Just an incredible kid that will be missed and remembered forever until we pass away. She was an incredible lady, incredible young kid. So hug your loved ones. Be grateful for the people that God has put in your life. And those are my lessons from being with this family over the weekend. And I'm looking forward to continue this journey with them through this experience and becoming better at being a friend who loves at all times and a brother who was born for adversity. Super grateful for each and every one of you guys. And your emotional health and fitness has real impact on the lives of the people around you. So continue to pursue your own emotional health and fitness so that you can be the best version of yourself, for yourself and for those around you, and for whatever it is that God's called you to do with your life.